Okay, so this video will be on captive bred fish. When you are breeding captive bred fish, should your goal be to constantly be outcrossing unrelated blood constantly? And the answer to that is no. That can have its uses, and it is certainly a tool that could be used if need be. But, and I'm sorry, it's actually 100 degrees in here, so I'm adjusting to a medication and such. Like, I'm really just not feeling it. But anyway, so that can be used as a tool for you to try and source as solid a bloodlines as you can, and then crossing them to kind of get your best start point for a real breeding program. But past that, it needs to be viewed as what it is, a risk. So for one, you're not going to be locking in the traits that you're wanting to realistically do as hardcore as you'd want to do, and also securing the genetics as being as clean as possible health-wise. Every time you cross an unrelated bloodline, right, or a group, whatever, you are exposing your offspring and future generations to whatever faulty aspects that that line carried, or group of fish, whatever it is, in its genetics. And so if that person didn't do their job and actually have a squeaky clean line, then you're going to have such a hard time actually getting through the process that you need to create a clean bloodline. So just think about it like, if every time you're crossing these in, you're crossing positive and negative traits together constantly. And I'm here to say really firmly, what you see on a fish is far from what it actually carries. So you can see the most beautiful fish in the world. That fish itself could carry such faulty genetics, it's not even funny. You just don't know until you actually dig in, or if you know the true factual history of that fish, where it came from, the breeding processes they used, protocols they had, everything like that. So again, just because a fish looks really beautiful does not mean that that fish is going to be your best chance for actually being able to have like a nice squeaky clean bloodline. Now, granted, if they have like ass loads of them, pardon my French here, but if they just have like indefinite amounts of the same thing and they're looking real consistent, then odds are, okay, then yeah, they're doing their job in what they're doing. So, but again, you really got to ask. So like, for example here, something that you should be doing, if you see a fish that you really like from an actual breeder, right, which is what you guys should be aiming to do, you need to be asking them, okay, if possible, at least, let me see a good chunk of the siblings. Let me see as much as I can find on that. It's not always going to be possible, or if you already know the breeding history and have been watching it and seen it all already, then fine, okay, that's great. Then you already know you have a good start point to kind of, put your chips on, so to speak. But if you don't, then you should be asking these questions. And if they're annoyed when you're asking these questions, just don't buy fish from them. Don't get fish from them, or whatever you're doing. Reptiles, doesn't matter. Don't buy them. Just, nope, I'm good. Like, if you're not going to take the time to show me, I'm not interested in spending my money, because you could be hiding anything out you wanted back there, and I would never know. And I'm here to say really firmly that a lot of really bad breeders, they will just be crossing whatever, whenever, no rhyme or reason and everything like that. And then they'll run into really large issues, and they'll be having deformities and all kinds of stuff. And then what they'll do is they'll just select out the faulty fish and then just sell the ones that still looked good. But then what happens is you breed those, and then you see an elevation in the traits that they tried hiding from you. See what I mean? And so now, you know what I mean? It's like if they were running an actual true program and they ran into some of these problems, they would be able to swiftly eliminate it, and actually eliminate it from the whole genetics, and even still be moving forward. So again, but running stuff like this, like what's on the wall here, which I'll be making a video of, as a matter of fact, it's coming up. So running something like this for the sellers that you see that have like just like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 types, I've got news for you. They won't be able to. No, they won't. They will not do it. They will not do it. They're not doing it. They're not. They're not. You can't do this level of saturation and have just countless types everywhere running off all the wall, right? So, can't stress enough how much, that people and their breedings and their workings and where they're kind of headed and where they are coming from too, it all just kind of needs to be looked at and it needs to be kind of understood. And you have to really be able to trust the source that you're going to be working with to attain breeding stuff. If you think that they might just be, I'm just here to sell a fish, then just don't buy it. Because if they're just there to sell a fish and they're not going to be open and honest with you, then you're not doing yourself any favors. Just move on. There's plenty of breeders that have quite a lot of stuff. Assuming you're kind of looking past disease factors as well here, which that's not what I'm teaching about, so I'm not even going to really touch base on. So anyway, though, captive bred fish, they have astronomical benefits for you to be able to actually run proper breeding programs and eliminating all the negative traits while elevating the positive traits that would be signature for that species or that type or whatever it is. As if it's a hybrid, then whatever, great. Then you're elevating the traits that are positive for that and weeding out the negative traits that would be in the genetics. So captive bred fish should never be viewed as something that is garbage or trash. It is a very, very important, vital tool to being able to actually get to the bottom of what nature out there in the wild can't. So, granted, sure, species that are, not going extinct naturally, but again, if humans are going and scalping randoms out of the lakes and such like that, we're really hindering nature from doing its job. We're not doing it any favors, because then nature can't do what it would normally naturally do to keep the species moving forward. So it's a tipping point. But again, here is where we can safely calculate and operate to be able to actually do a lot of species preservation and such like that, and projects, and creating our own lines and visuals and whatever. It doesn't matter. All of that. This is the fundamental key to be able to do all of what most everyone actually likes the most, which is highest quality, healthiest fish. That's what everyone's trying to shoot for. So this is what is required to do that. Otherwise, you are just getting a mixed skittle bag from a lake, breeding it, getting whatever you're getting. It could be genetically 4 generations down, whatever, I don't even care. And again, it doesn't matter if you're over there, oh, well, I'll just go get new fish constantly and breed them in. You're not doing yourself any favors. You're breeding risk factors in constantly. So if someone ever tries to then take those fish and actually breed like a real breeder, then you're going to actually cause them an astronomical headache, potentially. Each time you do it, you're adding to that risk. So no, that's not a practical breeding tactic there. That's like, hold on to your panties, you might run into a brick wall at any minute, and you can't actually predict that even. So you're not going to be able to eliminate what you need to, how you need to in the genetics, and still push those forward. Instead, you'll then be like, well, now what? And you won't have the tools in the genetics to be able to fix. You'll have to just try and outcross. And how much of a waste is that? And how many faulty offspring are you actually, either putting down or offering at that point because they look fine? Like, see what I mean? It's like, it is a tipping point, and you got to know where that tipping point is. So, again, I can't stress enough how much good quality lines, bloodlines, real ones, how much importance those actually have in this industry, or many other industries within in the animal industry. It's pretty vital. I mean, it is really, really vital. So, and again, I mean, even if you look at like horses and such like that, they're I know for a fact that their chart on a bloodline proper maintenance and such like that in operation will look a little bit different than what I'm showing you here. But again, I'm not teaching about that. So there is some species, again, like I said in the first video, I think I said it in the first video, you have to understand what you're working with and their tolerances and such like that, and which tactic you have to use. If you're working with, you know, mammals, then there can be differences in how you would do an actual breeding program for a bloodline and how you would maintain it and when you would have to do what. So again, but this is, I'm mostly focusing here on fish, rodents, reptiles. So I'm not talking about mammals, although some can. So again, know what you're working with and their tolerances first. Then you will know, and it's not hard to tell, because when you guys see this chart, you're gonna see, okay, so I can very clearly see here that they would or would not make it to this point, right? And if they did make it to that point, then you know this is applicable. So anyway though, hopefully you guys are getting use out of these videos. Again, captive bred fish should not be looked down on, so long as the breeder is actually properly maintaining and creating an actual bloodline. If they are, then great. And if it has a good history, or you know that breeder has an exceptional history and track record in being able to do these things, then you can bet that they're going to already have taken all due diligence to be able to ensure whatever it is that you're getting is going to be top notch. So anyway though, enough of this video. So I think I touched base on this enough. Now I'm going to make a video on a real bloodline and what that consists of and why it would be existent. So anyway.